Welcome to the Ultra Scotland 50 and 100 mile race brief. My name is Wayne Drinkwater and I am the race director for GB Ultras. And today we're going to cover some of the key points that you need to know for the race itself. So in 1984, the Southern Upland Way was unveiled at Tibby Shields beside St Mary's Loch as one of Scotland's great trails. And today the team at Southern Upland Way, the Rangers, Tom and Ross, have worked tirelessly alongside Scottish Power Renewables, the local authorities and landowners to establish the route and improve drainage as well as signage along the way. It is an absolutely marvellous route. There is something very, very special about the trail itself and something new and incredible round every corner. Harvey's Map have established a 4th edition of the map for the Southern Upland Way, and it's a waterproof edition and it's all in one map itself. So entrants can get a 20% discount through Harvey's Map for the map itself for the Southern Upland Way. So let's tell you a little bit more about the race registration and parking for the event. So race registration is at St John's Town of Dalry Village Hall, Town Hall, which is beside the Cairn Inn in the heart of St John's. Now, the race registration for bib number collection is available on Friday from 5:30 till 9 p.m. Alternatively, if you can only make it on race day morning, you can collect your bib number and also your tracker from 4 a.m. up to 5:45 a.m. on the Saturday. The trackers are only allowed to be collected on race day morning, purely because we do some final tests for the tracking themselves. So parking, this time round, we have managed to obtain the field behind the village hall. So if you are coming into Dalry and you pass St John's Town of Dalry Town Hall, and it's on your left hand side, go a little bit further and there's a fuel garage. And then if you follow the road for about a 1/4 mile, you'll then have a left turn, which is on the A762. Access to the field on your left hand side. As soon as you turn there, there'll be car parking signs, and you're more than welcome to park there and camp there for the duration of the event. Please bear in mind to use the facilities at St John's Town of Dalry should you need to. No barbecues on the land itself, and please only use the designated area for the parking, which will have marshals in position to help you on that. So outside of that, there is a mass start at 6 a.m. So we want to kind of get going really bang on time. The footbridge that goes over, they'll be staggered going over there because I think there's a maximum of around about 8 people that can cross at any one time. So just be aware there'll be a marshal either side to ensure that. So the route markings for the race itself, the team there have done an absolutely remarkable job over the years. So the Southern Upland Way is represented by this following Scottish emblem, and you'll also see these type of signs along the route itself as well. The Harvey's Map is this one, and it's all the full Races Across Scotland route, Southern Upland Way route, rolled into one map. Prior to this, the 1st, 2nd and 3rd edition always used to be 2 maps, so it's fantastic how they've incorporated it into one whole map. So that is basically the route markings. The route markings really seriously well marked. There may well be at this time of the year quite a fair bit of growth in terms of the bushes and the trees, so it might conceal the odd turn. So just be aware, have a good look at the map, and just be aware of where those kind of key turns are, where to expect to turn off. So checkpoint locations for the event itself. Checkpoint 1 is at Strone Patrick, 8 miles into the event. Unfortunately, no support crews are permitted at that point, purely because there's no parking available there except for really event team. But that's like the side of a road, so it's just not suitable for support teams at this point. There is an emergency shelter bovey at 18 miles into the event, again really just for the participants. There is road access, but it is single lane stuff. So again, really, if there's a number of vehicles going up and down there, you're not going to be able to turn around very easily. So I wouldn't recommend going down there unless you're evacuating a runner, but we'll have our team there anyway. Checkpoint 2, Sanquhar Town Hall at 26 miles. Support teams are welcome. Massive building and fantastic to have the support from Sanquhar. Checkpoint 3 is at Wanlockhead Community Centre at 34 miles into the event. Checkpoint 4 is on the other side of Lowther Hill at 40 miles, and it's on the A702. A very large lay-by, and support teams are more than welcome there as well. Just be careful of obviously oncoming cars on that section. Checkpoint 5 and the finish for the 50 mile is at Moffat Rugby Club, and halfway on the 100 mile is at Moffat. Okay, Moffat Rugby Club. There is also a bovey at Over Par Hope, bovey at 65 miles. Should anybody on the 100 mile need those emergency shelter, then there is that. There's also good road access close by to that bovey from the Ettrick Valley. Checkpoint 6 is Boston Memorial Village Hall, and that's 71 miles into the event, and a fantastic hall. Then there is, besides St Mary's Loch, a support point for support teams is the Glen Cafe. Very, really good cafe if it's open by the time they actually call in past. Checkpoint 7 is Trackware Village Hall at 89 miles. And checkpoint 8 is Fairneley Hut at 98 miles. Support teams are welcome throughout the race, but we would suggest that they, at certain points, that it's just not viable for them to be at checkpoint 1, for example. Checkpoint 1 is really the only one as such that we'd say that unfortunately you can't be in attendance there. Pacers for the 100 mile from Moffat onwards, you're welcome to have a pacer. Absolutely fine. We want everybody to have the same level of support in terms of on foot, on the ground for the first 50 mile. So no support pacers are permitted for the first 50 miles of the event, if that makes sense. So just bear that in mind. So from Moffat onwards, if you're on a 100 mile, you're more than welcome to use that. Okay, so a few other things that we need to mention with regards to Ultra Scotland, 50 and 100 miles. When you're passing through stiles or gates, please ensure that you close them behind you, just to ensure that livestock is kept in the necessary kind of fields. It can be a bit of a nightmare for landowners at times if gates are left open. So yeah, mass starts as mentioned at 6 a.m. Couple of events. Ensure that any snacks or anything like that, the rubbish, the litter that you have, is tight in your pack. Vast majority of people do so, but just on the off chance when you're actually getting something else out, whether it's a cup or anything like that, there is sometimes you know the chance that some rubbish is going to come out. So just make sure that it's really separate from things that you're actually going to be getting out regular. And when you come through the checkpoints, ensure that you dump all of the rubbish. Okay, let's take it out your pack, leave it with us. So that's really important. Road crossings, just be mindful and careful when crossing at all times, just the usual stuff. And emergency instructions, just in case there's something serious that happens to you or another runner on the event itself. If there is a minor injury, please let a checkpoint, marshal or race HQ know. Only in emergency where there is a risk to life or limb, please follow these instructions. Number 1, please use any spare clothing, your emergency bag, your emergency blanket, foil blanket, anything that you have to keep warm. Number 2, trigger the SOS button that is on your person. So just the tracker that will be located probably on your shoulder. Hold down the SOS button for approximately 3 seconds. That will then alert Race HQ, who can then proceed to call you or send out a medical team. Okay, so only in an emergency. Number 3, dial 999 and ask for an ambulance. Number 4, when possible, call Race HQ. Please let the race team know, and then we might have medics who are close by who can get to you very, very quickly. Okay, so please inform Race HQ, because the SOS button might not work, it might be damaged in a fall, anything like that. So there's no substitute for speaking to Race HQ themselves. Number 5, attract the attention of fellow runners by either shouting or using your whistle. Race number visibility. Your race number should be on your front when you're going through checkpoints or anything like that. Purely down to if we have an issue with your tracker, we need to change it, and we can't identify you unless we can actually see your race number. So ideally it should be on the front. You can fold it if need be, but it should be on your front, on your shorts, on your shirt, anything like that will be fine. The mandatory kit is the bare minimum kit that you have to carry during the event, the bare minimum. So if you decide that you want to take extra nutrition, if you've got any dietary requirements or allergies, please just carry that extra. If you decide that you want to carry a first aid kit, absolutely fine. Again, the current mandatory kit is the bare minimum kit. Anything that you deem that you want to carry extra is completely up to yourself. So diversions on the route itself that we're aware of, there are a couple of diversions that are currently in place. So today, which is approximately 11 days to race day, we've been made aware of another diversion by the very good team at Southern Upland Way. Now, what we'll do is we'll incorporate any diversions for this year's events in the race instructions email. So please keep an eye out for them. We'll also issue a new GPX. So another diversion is when runners are approaching Daer Reservoir. They've currently closed the footpath that goes over, so you've then got to go around the reservoir following the road instead. So there are the odd diversions on the route, but we'll incorporate them, bring them all together so that you can just check them all out and issue one GPX. This now concludes the Ultra Scotland 50 and 100 mile race brief. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to send us an email at events@gbultras.com. In the meantime, we just wish you all the very, very best for the remaining preparations for the Ultra Scotland, and we'll look forward to welcoming you to St John's Town of Dalry. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you at the event. Take care.